Hey, welcome to my channel. So let's get right to it. What should happen after this now as a result of the Mets winning 2 out of 3 against the Yankees? What can we expect? Absolutely nothing. Let's be honest. This just means nothing. If they swept the Yankees, a different story if they swept them. But the fact that they couldn't sweep them, fine. But the problem is the Yankees were like on a downswing anyways as well too. Unfortunately, they were on a slump as well too. So it doesn't really help the Mets at that point. The fact that the Mets were swept, but the way they were swept by the Pirates is like a massive concern at that point. The fact that they were only able to win 1 out of 2 against the Brewers, great. The reason why I'm like all pissed off and everything about this is because the fact is let's be honest, the Mets should have they should be in first place. Let's be honest. They should be in first place against the Phillies. The fact of the matter is like now they're gonna have to like work themselves up a little bit to the fact to get back to first place. And yeah, you could say, oh, all injuries, injuries, injuries. Yes and no, because the thing is, the way the team was built, not on the pitching side, but on the offensive side, it should have been up there. And as I was saying all this time, basically, the Mets have decent pitchers, but they don't have that one striking, glaring uh, not glaring, but more of like one striking fear of the opposing team pitcher, basically type of person. Someone like a Kurt Schilling, or for that matter, Randy Johnson. If we could get something of that nature, someone of that nature, that would be great. But we don't have anyone. Like when the Mets went against Skeens, they were scared. You could tell they were freaking scared to go against him, basically, because this guy is like untouchable practically. So it's one of those things where the Mets need that pitcher. Unfortunately, they have no one in the minors as of yet. Yeah, you could say for that one kid, basically, but in reality is I'll see it when he's promoted. Basically, it's like everyone that we've seen that has been doing well in the minors. When they get promoted up, they don't do well. Coming to the point of Brett Batty, demote him. Demote the dude. I hate to say it. Like, you got to demote him. Like, the dude's not doing anything at this point. Vientos is back, so, like, you don't really need him at this point. Mauricio is actually progressing. Not as much as we'd like it, but at least he's doing something. Batty, if he's not doing anything offensively, he's a defensive liability. Let's be honest. He's become a defensive liability at that point as well, too. Unless he can play third base really well, but he's not a gold glover at third base. And that's where Mauricio, I think, would come into play at that point, or even Acuna for that matter. I hate to say this, but like, it's one of those things where maybe you bring Batty down. The sad part is like, something's up with Batty. I don't know what's going on. I hate to say it's like, he does really, really well in the majors, but he suck. I mean, not majors. He does really well in the minors. Like, he's phenomenal in the minors. But then when he comes to the majors, he just plain out doesn't do well. I mean, there are times where he'll like progress, and then he'll just regress massively at that point. And the sad part is, I don't know what to do. Maybe this is a guy that's a career minor leaguer. I hate to say it. Maybe he's a career minor leaguer. Get his fame in the minor leagues. I don't know what to say. I mean, I sad to say, but that's what it seems like, basically. But I'll say this: Soto, I think being denied from the All Star game. I think this is the thing that would light him on fire to like finally like for him to start hitting at that point and like regain his normal form. I mean, yeah, the Mets are starting to hit a little bit, but could have hit yesterday. And the fact that Batty's not doing well for the past couple of games, I mean, like I said, doesn't help out. Soto, great, he's good in right field. Left fielder's Nimmo, but we need a center fielder. I mean, McNeil's not a center fielder. Let's be honest, McNeil is not just a center fielder. If anything, McNeil should be your DH. I hate to say this, but he's got to be a DH person more than anything else because he's not a second baseman. He's not a third baseman. He's not that good defensively. Offensively, he's getting back up there. I think he needs to be your DH. Marte going on the DL kind of sucks, or injured list basically, kind of sucks. But at the same time, it brings back Winkler. But the problem is like Winkler himself. I don't know if he's something that the Mets should use to like trade a little bit because he's good as a pinch hitter, but not as good as McNeil. Let's be honest. McNeil is now starting to come into his own. I think McNeil is more of a second half type of guy, anyways. So we need him, but I think McNeil needs to be a center DH more than anything else. He shouldn't be playing in the outfield. He should. Let's be honest. Him and like he could be like another Big Poppy or David Ortiz. I mean, honestly, I mean, he's not going to be a home run hitter, but at least he can be, one of those guys that gets on base constantly and drives in the runs that's needed at that point, or to make Alonso a DH. But the whole aspect of the Mets pitching, granted, it's one thing as well, and the Mets offense is another different thing. Offense is going to be there, not always going to be there, and that's the problem. It's not going to always going to be there. This is why I'm saying shift McNeil from playing the field to playing a DH, because he becomes a defensive liability. Nimmo at least is decent enough or good enough. Soto, good enough as well too. Are they Gold Glove worthy? Not yet. Lindor, definitely Gold Glove worthy. He's proved it otherwise. Second base, could be Mauricio, could be Acuna. One of those two at least. I mean, offensively they're not that great, but defensively speaking, better than above the norm compared to everyone else on the team. Batty, yeah, maybe defensively speaking on third base he's a little bit better than Vientos, but we need that offense as well too. So I'd say it, but Vientos, he's got to work on his third base skills. I think eventually he'll get back to that point. Batty, maybe you bring him down to the minors and teach him first base, because what's going to happen is Alonso, after the end of the season, he's going to opt out. Mets are going to try to re-sign him, but I have a feeling the Cubs, either the Cubs, Angels, or Rangers are going to overpay for him, because they're going to look for a first baseman. They need that first baseman, and they're going to, he's going to want that long-term deal. Stearns is not going to give him like a 5-year deal. Maybe he's going to want a 7 to 10-year deal. That's pretty much what he's going to look for. The Mets are not going to give him that. At best, they're going to give him 3 to maybe 4 at most. But reality is that they're not going to go beyond that. He wants 5 to 7. The Angels, the Rangers, and the Cubs are most like the 3 teams that they're probably going to overpay for him, basically, at that point. So I think we need to set it up for next year as well, too. So I just say, bring Batty back down to the minors. Let him train at first base, like he should. Train him at first base and let him gain a lot more experience as a first baseman, defensively speaking, and then maybe work on his hitting on there at that point. I mean, his hitting is decent enough or good enough in the minors to promote him to the majors. It's just he's got to work on some stuff, basically. I don't know. It's probably something in his head, but I don't know. Whatever it is. But like I said, the thing with the Mets basically is this. The next half of the season after the All-Star break, well, it depends what happens with. To be honest, I'm not expecting the Mets to beat the Orioles right now. I think they're definitely going to lose the series against the Orioles. Probably be swept. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But between now and basically the second half of the season, it all comes down to like how well the Mets can do. It just also comes out to the point like when Manaea comes back as well too, because Manaea, not a dominant pitcher. Let's be honest, he's not the dominant pitcher, but he's enough to hold the rotation in place. Him, Peterson, hopefully he gets out of his funk. Half the pitchers are like pretty much injured at this point, anyways. But it's unless Stearns can find an unbelievable pitcher. I mean, honestly, if Stearns can somehow get Skeens, if he can get Skeens somehow. I mean, I'm willing to surrender a lot of prospects for Skeens. Quite honestly, I'm willing to surrender like three or four of our top best prospects to get Skeens. I'll be glad to do it. If we can get Skeens, I think we become a dominant force at that point. But in any case, like I said, it's all a matter of like how the Mets apply their pitchers, basically. Their defense at this point, because the offense is going to slump here and there, and yeah, they're going to hit here and there. But the reality is like. You're going to come up with some unbelievable pitchers, like another Skeens type of person, or pitchers that are on a hot streak, and you're going to get blanked out unless their pitchers and the defense can keep the opposing team to like 1 to 2 runs. It's not going to happen. But as we saw, basically, as I showed you, basically, the Mets can score above 5+ runs. Chances are they have a likelihood of winning. I mean, yeah, granted, the last game on Sunday's game against the Yankees, they were there, but. I mean, again, the defense kind of failed at that point as well, too. And the Yankees defense, put it this way, not so great as well either. But the fact that they had some massive defensive plays on their end held the Mets to the point where, like, the Mets could have scored and they could have won those games. But that's, beside the point. It's already passed. So the for the rest of the season, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. you're welcome to leave it in the comment section. But I think more so to the point like the Mets have got to get some serious pitchers, as well as if they can strengthen their defense even more, that's even great as well too. Outside of that, I got nothing else left to say. Again, leave your let me know your thoughts. To be honest, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you like my content, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, of course, always unrehearsed. Until next time.